Good evening, everyone. I'll call the regular council meeting for May 28th, 2025 to order. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. City Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Douglas. Councilmember Hilberg.
Here.
Mayor Loman.
Here.
And for the record, Councilmember
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda order, please?
Motion to approve.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And item 1E, do we have any new conflicts of interest? No? Right.
No change.
Great. Move on to the consent calendar item. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a council vote unless a council member or member of the public requests an item be pulled for discussion. Items pulled will be addressed after council completes the consent calendar vote and will require a separate motion. Are there any items the council or public would like to pull from this consent calendar? No. Then may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Aye.
And as a reminder to the council and public, this meeting is being live streamed. Please be sure to speak clearly into the microphone for our audio recording if you'd like to make a comment. And we'll move on to item 3, agency reports, Placer County Sheriff.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Sergeant Toby Williams, Placer County Sheriff's Office. Statistically, I'll save that for next month, but as the summer months are starting to come into play, the hot weather, so does the calls for service. So not only here necessarily in the city of Colfax, but throughout Placer County. So you probably will see an uptick a little bit in our presence and some of the things that we're doing. We worked on a couple of transient related issues this week. Hopefully we're able to provide a couple of those folks with some services and a way to get home. They aren't from here. So hopefully some resolutions will come there. I'll be working with council and the city manager for some panhandling ordinances as we move through the summer, just to kind of help clean up the city a little bit. And otherwise, it's pretty much about it. Colfax, the schools are either out or will be out this weekend. So we plan on kind of being around, watching over graduation and just kind of making sure that traffic behaves, so to speak. So hopefully it'll go smoothly for everybody. Other than that, does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Been an inherent problem, not a secret, everybody knows that morning and afternoon are usually traffic at night.
Okay.
Do you guys have any more than to actually paint some decent signs on that? So far, the right, not block, left turn lane, going over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
And then 174 had the same problem in front of the Tiger store. There's no line that divides people. Half of them cattywampus hanging into the left turn or straight ahead again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very frustrating to the people that live here because a lot of those people aren't here. They're going transition through.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Who better get the attention down there? You did.
It'd be a kind of a combination of, if we notice that there are some issues, obviously if they're causing accidents and things like that, it falls a little bit more on us, but obviously we want to try to prevent that. So, right. And I just want to be clear. So 174, making the left-hand turn in front of the tire shop to go down towards 80. There's no line deviating the left from the right. Okay. Hmm. Right. Okay. We can take a look at it. And, we can work with the city if some things need to be painted, if it falls within the city limits, or if it's a Caltrans issue. We can work with that. No problem.
Yep, we'll make a note of it too, and we can talk to you about the area. We'll make a note of it too, and that way we can reach out to Caltrans. Yep. Right. Any questions from council? Any other public questions? I just wanted to say thank you that the community does notice the extra presence and all the effort you guys are putting in to make sure downtown stays safe and inviting place. Just thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No CHP representative tonight, Cal Fire.
Good evening. Eric Schwab, Assistant Chief with CAL FIRE, Placer County Fire. So some updates, like Sergeant said, we're seeing an uptick too. Fire season seems like it's just about here. The grass is cured up to about the 2,500-foot elevation line. Last week, we responded to in the Nevada Yuba Placer unit to 24 vegetation fires, the largest one being down in the valley at 65 acres. So the grass is available and willing to burn. Burning is still open and permissible on permissible burn days. There will be a suspension over the weekend though, due to the triple-digit heat. So be aware of that. Grass Valley Air Tac Base, the OV-10 Air Tactical Group Supervisor platform showed up on Monday, I believe it was. So it's at Grass Valley available. The first tanker shows up tomorrow. The first S2 will be up there available tomorrow. The second tanker should be up there in 1 to 2 weeks. We also have multiple aircraft available for any response out of McClellan that can come up, Type 1 helicopters, Type 1 air tankers. So we're seeing an uptick. We are fully prepared. We've been fully staffed for several months now, but it's time for real. Homeowners that defensible space needs to happen. Be cognizant of when you're mowing, not in the heat of the day. That's where several of our starts occurred last week, was through mowing. That's an update on that. I also brought some handouts here, and I only brought 5. I grabbed them as I ran out. Saturday, June 21st, down at Station 10 off of Bowman Way in Auburn, we're doing a wildfire preparedness expo open to all the public. It's going to be from 8 to noon. Ourselves, the Sheriff's Department, will be there talking about evacuations. All of our defensible space inspectors will be there talking about home hardening, resiliency. We have all of the local fire safe councils have been invited to it. District 5 supervisor will be there. Multiple fire agencies have been invited. It should be a family fun event, educational. We're going to have a UAS demonstration. We'll have one of our helicopters there. So I'll put some of those flyers out, and you should be seeing it flooding the social media. So please, everyone can come to that. And then last thing, we just got our 2025 Grass Valley Emergency Command Center annual report done. If I would have known there was going to be more people, I'd have brought more. Feel free to take a look at them. I can bring up some more if these get handed out, but just shows the call volume and the statistics of the Grass Valley Command Center is the 3rd busiest emergency command center in the CAL FIRE system in the state. There's 21 of them. So this here is the 3rd busiest one. So I don't want to kick out the wrong number of incidents, but right here, total incidents dispatched last year, 38,919. And it breaks down everything that's in there. So I will leave those here on the table for you guys. And any questions for myself and Clint first, Chief Seaver, did I miss anything? Okay, perfect. Got to make sure. Yes, sir. I'm going to do even better. I'm gonna give you
The station, you can see it from the freeway.
Yes, sir. Yep, Station 10. You guys want one or just put it on?
I did put a couple of those flyers up on there's one up on our bulletin board, the post office, and at Sierra Market too. So they're up around town too, if anybody wants to grab the QR code. And we can make more copies tonight if anybody needs them.
Yep, and we have a stack of them, but yes, thank you for posting those.
I just have a brief question.
Yes,
Are
sir.
any of those planes a jet?
Yes, so we classify our air tankers. We have LATs, they're called large air tankers, and very large air tankers, and those are all jets.
This was more like a fighter plane, went straight over my house, headed toward Grass Valley, due north.
Huh, no, wouldn't be one of ours. So probably something out of Beale would be my guess.
I just wondered because it was pretty low. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. That's
Any
all.
other questions? No? All right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Chief. All right. Do we have any nonprofits here tonight that would like to speak? Andy?
Evening, Council. I'm Andy Giannini. I'm the Superintendent of Colfax Elementary School District. It's great to see you. I wanted to just kind of share a little bit about our school year this year, some things we're looking forward to next year. I also have copies of our local control accountability plan that all school districts are required to have throughout the year. It's kind of our guide. It's a 3-year plan that we have. Would you guys like a copy of it? All right, I'm going to start it here with Ken. So I also wanted to thank our law enforcement, CAL FIRE, for partnerships together, the schools, county sheriff's department, highway patrol, and the city council. So we are in this, we just are finishing up the first year of a 3-year local control accountability plan. We have 2 goals. Our first goal is that all students at Colfax Elementary will benefit from rigorous learning conditions and a broad course of study that develop individual skills to be adaptive to change and resilient to challenges by meeting proficiency in ELA and mathematics as measured by local and state assessments while narrowing performance gaps between all student groups. And then we have several actions that support that goal. Right now we have 6 actions, and then we're proposing to add another action next year. These actions include having an intervention block for our students, where students, no new instruction goes on, where we can pull students into small groups, reteach concepts so that they don't fall behind. We also have professional development for our teachers every single year. The professional development that we had this year focused a lot on inquiry-based instruction. We're going to pivot and we're going to move towards classroom management and engagement strategies for next year. And then we also, one of our strategies is to purchase core curriculum. This year, we adopted and implemented a new social studies curriculum for all of our grades. Our next adoption is going to be in the 26-27 school year, we'll pilot math. Math is our next adoption. We follow an adoption cycle that is really begun by the state of California. So the state of California just released or will be releasing soon a list of curriculum that that they consider as being approved by the state. So that kind of, we can't really move forward on the curriculum adoptions until that happens. So that's when we're going to be doing our next adoption. We fund additional staff to keep our class sizes low, low ratios, also additional staff for additional content area. And then we also have what's called expanded learning opportunities. So we really focus a lot of our money on providing opportunities for kids after school. We have a great after school program. We actually have 2 after school programs. One's a visual and performing arts after school program where students can learn how to do theater. But then we also have an academic and just a regular after school program. Next year, we're looking to implement the AVID program. The AVID program in middle school, which is advancement via individual determination. It's really a program to build leadership skills, organizational skills in our middle school kids. We're going to start with middle school, and then we're going to kind of trickle it down into upper elementary and then elementary over the next couple of years. Our second goal is that all students in Colfax Elementary School District will grow in social and emotional health by benefiting from relationships that value the voice of each student in a safe, inclusive, positive, and engaging learning environment created through a collaboration and connection between school staff, parents, and community members built upon trust. We have 8 actions that support that goal. We're going to add 2 more next year. A couple of those actions include partnering with our Placer County Office of Education a lot to provide professional development, but they also help us to staff an on-site wellness center. So we have a social worker and a community liaison that are both county employees that are on our site every day of the week. They help provide not only support for the students, but for the students' families also. We do food assistance, we have clothing assistance. We do a lot of things to provide support for our community up here as a school. Because in a rural community, as you guys know, sometimes getting support services is limited. So the school is really a hub, and probably one of the fundamental ways that a lot of our families get support in our community. Add for next year, and this goal is we're going to purchase some technology tools. We are going to be getting a certain kind of a firewall for our computers so that our teachers know exactly in live time everything that our students are accessing online, which will be very safe for our kids. It also will allow us for the first time to be able to go one-to-one in the sense that we're going to start sending, we're going to be assigning a Chromebook to each middle school kid that they're going to take from home to school, back to home, and they'll have that Chromebook the entire year as they move forward. We also are going to be bringing in safe school ambassadors next year that are going to work on bully prevention, building strong positive relationships with our upper elementary and our middle school kids. So some of the things we did also this year, we received silver status for California PBIS Coalition for building a positive school climate. We also implemented a check-in, check-out mentoring program this year. Several of our staff volunteer every single day to check in with kids before school starts, after school starts, on goals that they set for themselves. It was very successful. We also started a Watchdogs program. It's a volunteer program that really encourages dads and other father figures, males, to come down to the school and volunteer. Our dads and our grandpas are really involved at Colfax, but this even gives them another opportunity to get even more involved. And then our visual and performing arts program, they put on a show of a Midsummer Night's Dream last week, even with the old English and everything. So it's pretty spectacular to watch. And we partnered with Colfax High School this year. We sent several of our 8th grade students down to Colfax High at the end of our day and towards the end of their day for advanced math classes. It's pretty unique partnership that we have with the high school right next door to us. It's not often that elementary schools can work that close with a high school to provide kids that kind of an opportunity. We also sent 2 grades, not just 1, but 2 grades to science camp this year in Mission Springs. And we had a couple of really fun community events. We had lunch with loved ones where we invited families to come down and eat lunch with their kids. And we had a market day where our older kids put together a sales booth and they sold things that they made or they bought to the younger kids that had, bulldog bucks. And those were 2 really great events. Those were both our new principal, Danielle Fee, that was her idea, and they were both spectacular hits. And then looking ahead into next year, we are going to be planting a grass field on the lower quad. We started an intramural program this year, an intramural kickball for the first time. It was a huge hit. It was really fun. Next year, we're looking to do intramural soccer and intramural basketball to go with it. And so we'll have that grass field hopefully established in September. And then we'll have all new indoor and outdoor bells next year for the first time since I've been there as superintendent. I showed up as superintendent and everything started to, it just all of a sudden didn't work. So one of them was our bells. So we've been slowly piecing things back together, but this summer we'll have new bells, which is going to be spectacular. It sounds like a silly thing, but it's a big thing. And then we also are going to bring our enrichment wheel back for our middle school kids the last 45 minutes so they can participate in student council, home economics, public speaking, things like that. Just give them an opportunity to kind of experience things outside the normal core curriculum. And just a few more things. A quick update on a broader topic. Colfax Elementary was built in 1991 and is starting to show its age. We've done a lot of great work on the inside with updating carpeting, linoleum. Our technology infrastructure is pretty good. The outsides need work. And so we, for the first time, hired an architect and we put together, there were 3 workshops, community members, family, parents, teachers, staff, and we put together a facilities master plan for Colfax Elementary. And it's the first facilities master plan our district's had to kind of give us guidance as what's our next direction for modernization, for improvements, for even new construction. And in combination with that, we are applying for Proposition 2 state facilities funding for the first time. That funding takes a little while. The most important thing is to get in line. We probably won't see the funding for 2 or 3 years, but it's this Proposition 2 that passed on the ballot in November is the first time in the state where they actually had a set aside amount for small school districts. Small rural school districts so the big school districts were not able to touch that money. So it's really great. It also shows a really nice direction from the state of California, recognizing small school districts and the needs that small school districts have. Because the reality is in the state of California, small school districts far outnumber large school districts. So it's good to see that kind of that attention given by the state of California to that. Anyways, I always like giving a report. As we go into as we finish up the year, going to the next year, we're really looking forward to next year. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. You guys have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
I was aware of the AVID at the high school level.
Yes.
Does the high school here have an AVID program?
Colfax High doesn't have an AVID program right now,
So,
mostly because they're an international baccalaureate high school. So I think they kind of moved that direction. But anyways, what were we going to say?
our daughter is very involved in that and she flies all over the place. And I thought it's a wonderful program.
Yeah.
And I just found it interesting that you're starting at middle school and going down.
Yes.
Because that's where the roots are.
Yes.
I just think it's a wonderful program and it's the one where you find kids that are capable of going to university, but it never occurred to them.
It's true.
And them engaged and encourage them.
We've done some exploratory work on international baccalaureate at the elementary level. Out of the question, we might move that direction in the future, but it's a big lift. It takes a lot of curriculum planning, a lot of assessment planning. It's a lot for a staff to do. We look at AVID as a great connecting point with international baccalaureate because it has a lot of the same ideals about leadership, organization, college and career readiness, and really broadening perspective. So we're excited about it. We think AVID's going to fit in with the high school IB program real well as the kids go. Yeah. Any other questions? All right.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh, yeah, Kevin.
I've been acquiring musical instruments and I put them in my garage and so
Yeah.
they're waiting for you
Thank you.
When we get a band over there.
Awesome, man. Kim and I've talked about this before. That's a long-term goal of mine, is to try to get a music program at Colfax Elementary. So in the future, that'd be nice to do too. Be great to see kids
Yeah.
out there tooting on the horns and stuff.
Right.
All right, any other questions? All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
letting
very
me
much
speak.
for coming tonight, Andy. All right, do we have any other nonprofits tonight?
Hello, I'm Bob Morales. I'm a basketball coach at Colfax High School, and I'm here representing the basketball program and Sierra Soar, which is the children's nonprofit that supports.
We have you on the agenda for tonight. You're on the agenda for tonight. You're gonna be one of the next up. Okay. Sorry, we'll get you. All right, no other nonprofits tonight? Then we'll move on. We don't have any presentations or public hearings tonight. So move on to public comment. Now's time for anyone who would like to come up and provide a public comment. For items not on the agenda, you have 5 minutes. Any public comment? No? No? All right. Anything online? No? Ah, there you go. No? All right, I'm gonna close public comment. You good? All right. You're here. I just want to make sure. Okay, we'll move on to item 7, council and staff reports. Kim, do you want to kick it off?
And we got here so fast. The only thing I did could be positive. I met with the real estate agent concerning getting a list of all empty buildings and businesses, and he's going to start working on that. So hopefully one of these days soon we'll have a list of empty businesses and we can do something about it. That's a start. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Kim. Larry?
Just to add to that, I know the theater's for sale, if anybody's interested in doing something like that. First thing I would mention is I went to a Sierra Vista Center meeting, and this is about a month ago, and at the end of it, basically the majority of the board left the building in a block and left behind just a couple people. And since then, they've had another meeting that I didn't attend, but they formed a group of 7 that will be existing and new board members of the Sierra Vista Center. And they're going to have their officers annual meeting where they elect officers coming up later this month. The B and Keeney board meeting, and without getting into it as to what should happen going forward, but the Sierra Vista Center is very short on funds, and without getting into why, there's some action required there. A lot of work for the new board to go forward with. The other thing that I did is I went to what's now called, instead of WACMAC, it's the Central Advisory Council, and that's a group that's convened by Cindy Gustafson, the supervisor of this area. She has, I think, 7 or 8 different advisory councils, and they're all over the place. And it's a group of people that are not decision makers, but they come together to give her advice on some of the things that are going on. And she gives a presentation. And one of the things that she mentioned that I remember is Placer County has a $1.5 billion budget. And that really surprised me. And I remember some senator some few decades ago saying $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money. And of course, now at that level, they talk about trillions, but it's still a lot of money. And I believe that almost half of it goes toward policing ourselves, which I find very interesting. You know, maybe we need all that, but I'm not real sure. We spoke about the Bear River. There's a lime kiln down there that I don't know if many of you know about. It's along the Bear River downstream of where the campground used to be, now a day use area. And it's now recognized by Placer County as a public site. And going forward, probably will become known better. And with a little money spent on it, like $10,000, they thought they could make that a place where they could bring people in. I know, for example, the US Mint and one of the other major buildings in San Francisco came from the limestone that came out of that place. One of the other things that came up is something I'll mention in good of the order later, but they did something unique, as far as I know, in an effort to get more public people to come to their meetings. So this is coming from the Placer County Supervisors. And as you all know, we have a situation where when we hear public comment, that people get 3 minutes and we sit up here and nod because it's not on the agenda and we can't really engage. So this is an idea toward opening up communication, and it worked really well. So when it gets to good of the order, I'll bring that up again. They're making a real attempt again to get the public to come and speak, which, as we saw tonight, is probably needed. And that's all.
Let's see, we've got the Heritage Park, which is the Move the Caboose project that is slowly but surely making its way around. What else did I have? Oh, I went to the cemetery with the VFW where they did their ceremony on Monday for the veterans, which is always a good event to attend. And that's about the highlight of it from official meetings.
All right, great. I went to the Pioneer Energy Board meeting. I've also attended the Sierra Vista Center Bianchini meetings. We finally had our outdoor dining ad hoc committee meeting. Trinity and I met, so we'll hopefully by the next council meeting bring some recommendations to the council to consider. For now, we're gonna continue with the plan of let Ron move some stuff around and we'll try a few things and until we can lock everything down. Sounds like it might take a little bit more engineering work and a little bit more money to make sure we got everything not just ADA compliant, but ADA friendly and accessible so everybody can use the space properly. So, so that's definitely a top priority there, and we'll just keep working on it. And we got time, so make changes as needed. Also attended the Fire Safe Council meeting and a meeting with our No Wildfire representative for the fire sensors. Got another one up this last weekend, and hopefully I'll be pushing 3 more out the next weekend. So making progress on that. And tomorrow I'll be at a meeting, hopefully, to meet with the Emergency Command Center, the No Wildfire folks, and another group that got the grant for these sensors, and we're going to work on integrating them into the Emergency Command Center notification system. So that way these notifications are going someplace useful besides just a property owner that needs to take action on it. So that's pretty exciting for the future of those sensors. And that was about it. Ron?
Okay, well, I've met with Matt from wastewater and Casey from maintenance. We've had discussion on future CIP projects and budgeting and how we're going to work that in with Tim, our new consultant for budgeting and finances for the city. Met with Carolyn from Railroad Days, discuss the spending for the outdoor grant on the outdoor dining project and see what she has left and where we'll prioritize spending what little money she has left for that. Amanda, our city clerk, will update the city website calendar. We're going to replace the Chambers event calendar with a city maintained version, as the Chambers isn't maintained as regular as we'd like to see. So we're going to go ahead and pull that back in-house. Hopefully keep up on that. So people know what's going on a little more often. Staff will be posting on the city website the announcement for the 3rd of July home decorating contest, just like we did in wintertime. So, and then council members we'll ask council members to judge each home and then give us maintenance department is continuing vegetation control. I'm sure you've seen them all over the city. filling potholes, South Auburn, South Canyon areas. Maintenance staff addressed a pumping issue at the startup of the splash pad, and that's all working now. We're up and running there. And Placer County Sheriff's Office, as Toby said, has asked us to look into a panhandling ordinance. So I've started that process, and I'll be talking with Kathy, the city planner, about that when she comes in tomorrow. That's all.
All right, thank you very much.
I wonder if I
And-
could break in for a minute again. I forgot something, and that is that Placer County and the Department of Fish and Game are engaged in right now in a new agreement for that area that used to be a campground. So they're pretty active. The biggest disagreement right now is how long it should last and what the county should do. But I forgot to mention that.
No problem. Thanks, Larry. All right, there's nothing else. We'll move on to item 8, our council business. Tonight, we have 4 items on council business. The first item tonight is the Safe Streets for All grant. City Manager, can you please introduce the item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're once again partnering with Placer County Transportation Agency to apply for the SS4A or Safe Streets for All grant. Last year, we were told the city did not have enough fatal collisions to qualify for the grant. That's a good thing. So missing out on that does not hurt my feelings. But we were encouraged to reapply. In order to reapply, the city and PCTPA will need to sign a new agreement to move forward the process. Corey Peterson from PCTPA is with us tonight to give a presentation of the program and answer any questions council or the audience has. Corey?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. It's good to be back up here in Colfax. And as Ron mentioned, we worked with the city to apply for the grant last year and were unsuccessful. US DOT told us, as Ron put it, that you guys didn't have enough fatal collisions here in Colfax, which is of course a good thing, but certainly something that we want to try and address issues so we can prevent them in the future. So we are proposing to reapply, and what I'm going to do is go over, can you hit the next slide? Go over to, let me see if this is going to work this time. Nope. All right. We'll have Amanda do it. Okay. So hit it one more time, please. So just a little bit of an overview of the program, just because it's been a year. So, we'll go over it a little bit again. Safe Streets for All program. This is it's a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, and its primary focus is to address traffic safety issues. So they fund planning and capital projects. They fund about 60% of the money. It's about roughly $1 billion nationwide funds capital projects that can put in projects like signing and striping, guardrails, shoulder widening, can reconfigure intersections, build roundabouts, anything that would help address fatal and severe injury collisions on roadways. But also funds planning projects, which is what we're going to be applying for here, to look at past collision data and assess what trends there are, what specifically, what projects would be most impactful in addressing traffic safety issues. And hit the next slide. And that's called a comprehensive safety action plan. And really what this is to specific issues here in Colfax, collision data, it focuses primarily on fatal and severe injury collisions. We can also look at other injuries and property damage collisions as well. And really the most important thing about this is that it makes you guys eligible to apply for capital grant funding, either from the Safe Streets for All or also from the Highway Safety Improvement Program, which is it's a federal funding program, but it flows down to each state. So the program is administered by Caltrans, and they do a call for projects every 2 years. And a lot of highway safety projects in the state of California get funded through that program, and a lot of local agencies take advantage of that money. Next slide. So as I mentioned before, application was unsuccessful last year, so we're going to reapply again. The request remains the same. It'll be $100,000 from the US DOT with a $20,000 match. We'll be sharing that with PCTPA and the city. The US DOT does allow us to do in-kind staff time in lieu of cash, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll be splitting that between the 2 agencies. I will be writing the application and submitting it on behalf of the city. And then if we're awarded this time, we will do the work jointly. PCTPA will do the RFP and conduct the planning work with most likely a consultant in close coordination with Ron and Carl and the city staff. Next slide. So as Ron mentioned, the action item for you is consideration of the approval of the MOU between PCTPA and the city to submit this grant application. It's due in about a month and we'll expect decisions here in the fall. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
And did you say that, why did the DOT turn it down?
Yeah, so
Because we haven't had enough accidents? Is that what you said?
pretty much. So the application, when you submit it, you have to submit it along with your accident data. And there's a calculation that you put in based on your population and the number of accidents. And it's not specifically stated in the guidelines, but they do tend to give higher priority to areas with a lot more collisions, which is basically the reason that the staff at USDOT gave us. They said the application was good. There was nothing wrong with it. It just didn't rise to the top for that reason. So we're going to try again at the pot.
So we'd like to be proactive, but we have to wait till we're reacting. Sounds like. It's kind of
Unfortunately, that is often how these things work. It's I've done a lot of these plans in previous jobs for other jurisdictions across California. That is the most unfortunate thing about it, is that a lot of safety grants rely on accident data, which necessarily means somebody has to get in an accident. So it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the reality that a lot of these grants live in. So. But that's why we're trying to be proactive, do this plan so we can help get more money to build the improvements to help prevent future accidents.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council? No. Any questions from the public? Go ahead, Eric.
Hi.
Harry, would you mind using the mic?
Would you mind coming up and talking? Yeah.
The public's not hearing.
My question is $120,000. What is that towards? Paving or side paving?
Yeah, you're all right.
Okay. Cause I didn't think it'd go very far.
No, that's okay. The 120,000 would pay for the planning study to analyze the crash data and package projects and recommend improvements. So it would not pay for paving. And actually the specific grant pays for either capital or planning. The grant we would apply for is only for planning. So we wouldn't be able to use it for actual capital projects. But what it would do is it would make you eligible to apply for capital grants. The Safe Streets for All and those require the city to have a plan like this to even apply for those monies. So right now you're not even eligible.
Great. Thank you. One more.
So in layman's terms, the $120,000 gives us the right to get more money? Is that what you're saying? In other words, you have to go through a meeting to ask for more money and it costs $120,000 to get the money? Somehow something's lost in the translation.
In a sense, yes. But well, yes, in a sense, yes. But there is a lot of benefit to doing the plan because then you actually know what you're applying for. So you're able to look at collisions and identify specific issues and problems that you can then have in your plan, evidence-based. This is what we studied. This is what we're applying for. It makes you a lot more likely to even get the money because it'll be evidence-based. That's why we do these plans.
That's government and bureaucracy.
Unfortunately, I don't make the rules.
Yeah. Any other questions? No, nothing online. Okay.
Well, Harry, I want to say it's like a high stakes poker game. That's the buy-in for a high stakes poker game. She'll tell you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming tonight. All right. All right, can I have a motion to approve item 8A to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with PCTPA for grant application and management?
So motioned.
Any second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, next item, 8B is an ad hoc committee assignment for Winterfest and Oktoberfest. City Manager, can you please introduce this item?
Absolutely. With the Chamber of Commerce announcing it will no longer be sponsoring Winterfest or Oktoberfest, staff was directed by council at the last meeting to bring this back for discussion of a formation of an ad hoc committee.
Great, thanks.
Okay, if I can comment, I did get a text from Aaron from the Downtown Historic Association and said that they were gonna take over Oktoberfest, apparently was the conversation she had with the chamber. So she wanted me to make sure that we knew that, so that is off of our plate. And she says if we are forming a committee for Winterfest and you're taking public people, she would like to throw her name in the hat to be part of that, so I got that text just a little bit ago.
That makes me feel a little better. All right, let's discuss. So we want to form an ad hoc committee for at least Winterfest, but we'll say Oktoberfest and Winterfest. That way we can go meet with Oktoberfest. Or for Oktoberfest.
So
too, and see if
one
they need-
committee or two?
It'd be one committee for both.
And what would be the objective? What would the committee be expected to do?
I would say schedule and attend meetings for planning, assist with planning and setup, and basically running the show. I mean, if we don't have another nonprofit that's stepping in, Aaron is now offering to step in and assist. So we'll have to define that role after the ad hoc committee is made, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be management of the event and project.
Yeah, you'll either work with a nonprofit to manage and run the project, or we'll be doing that with the ad hoc committee and staff.
Yep.
I'd be interested in doing that. I'd be willing to be one of the two.
Okay. Kim, you got any comments on this or anything, or no comment? Got it.
I applaud you for considering being number two.
I could do that if nobody else steps forward. Somebody that's been dying to do it since they were in junior high school. If somebody hasn't come forward, I can do it and be a backup.
I've been involved in some way in pretty much every year, so I'm okay with stepping away this time. If you two gentlemen would like to get that going. I don't have any objections. Caroline?
We're good.
I had put together for Ron kind of a basic step-by-step that how to make these events happen, since I did Railroad Days last year, this year, and I'm doing the same education point for the 3rd of July this year as well. So my only discussion to throw up, while I have no interest in taking on Winterfest, I don't know if me being on that committee is more useful because I have done it and can offer some more direction. And obviously we can't put 3 of us on a committee. However that needs to work, I mean, I'm more than happy to offer, my experience and my contacts and all of, the steps that are required, so you're not starting from scratch. But I definitely don't want to head it in any way, shape, or form. I have enough, but I'm more than happy to offer my limited experience and expertise in making it happen in the context that need to be done. So however we want to work that out.
If we need more, sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
go.
If we need more involvement too from other council members, we can throw together a workshop and just meet publicly and just not even worry about it then that way too, if you guys are all okay with that.
Public is better because we're walking
yeah.
that Brown Act line all the time.
Yeah, well,
But once we do it in a meeting.
well,
like
if
this-
there's gonna be 3 people discussing the same thing and we're gonna have voting items on this of what we're gonna, for funding at the very least, I don't think we'll be voting on how you guys are putting it together or anything like that. I think it's just more of a directional committee, making sure everything happens as opposed to bringing us back recommendations. So this would be an action committee as opposed to a recommendation ad hoc.
And has someone stepped forward for the Christmas one?
That's
Not yet,
The
right?
Winterfest, nope. So we'll have to see how it goes. That one's gonna be a lot of planning, so I don't know if I'm okay with nominating Larry and Kim to lead the ad hoc committee. And if you guys feel you need additional assistance, we'll just throw out a workshop whenever works and we can all help with it if needed.
So maybe the initial first meeting, then we just do it as a workshop so that I can bring
Yep.
all the information to the table that I have and be able to give to you guys that way from the beginning.
I think that's perfect.
Does that work?
I think that touches on what I wanted to discuss on, in our last little thing tonight.
All right. You got good direction there? We'll set up an ad hoc or set up a workshop. All right.
I will say that you have to jump on this very, very quickly because it should have started a bare minimum 2 months ago for that event. So you roughly run 9 months to a year for an event. So just know that it's one that's gonna have to get jumped on very fast to happen. So,
For Winterfest, yeah.
yeah, for Winterfest, yes.
Yep, all the fireworks planning and all that stuff.
Yep.
And getting vendors and
Yeah,
yes, so
it-
much fun.
It
Yeah,
is
true.
a bare minimum, to do it.
Yeah.
So you're not ripping your hair out. You're looking at least a 9 month process. So, but it can be done. I did railroad days, most of it on my own. So it absolutely can be done, but I just want you guys to know what you're looking into. It's going to be a very consistent and very quick process. So.
All right, great. Any other comments from the council? Nope. Public comment? Good, Harry.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes.
I'll make it a short story. You know, we're kind of, Colfax is really a Disneyland. We're an attraction. We're a place where people come to see what we do, our history. Primarily, of course, it's been railroad, but we have a lot of events tied around that. It would seem to me that if we had a committee of people that handled all of it, so that we're not so fragmented doing so many different things and burdening, like Caroline, she's got a load of this stuff, which is totally unfair. Although she volunteered, but God bless her for doing it, but still, we need that money, we need that consistency, and we need that branding. We need to look like Disneyland. And the most frustrating thing for me, from what I've been able to contribute, is the Winterfest thing. That was, in my opinion, it was a disaster because the Chamber of Commerce did absolutely nothing with the banner that they had 3 weeks before the event. And then to add insult to injury, they left it up there for months after where it was tattered and torn and looked like hell. That's not quite the thing you want the city to look like. So there has to be some cohesion to make this thing work a lot more fluidly. Caroline, you can attest that. Are they smooth ever? Hell no. Hell no. This is my second year with 3rd of July, and it's the same 90 days we had last year. So that's just part of it. We're competing with a lot of different events. So people that we call on early for sponsorship and what have you, after we leave, 15 more people walk in the door after us. So crunch time becomes very important. We have to go back, we have to remind, we have to, and that's fine. As far as the chamber goes, the part that really upset me the most was the outgoing gentleman, Tim, I don't know his last name, but Tim. I volunteered to be part of that thing. And I was told on the last interview, Harry, we love your enthusiasm. You get along great with the city council. Your marketing ideas are fantastic, but we just don't think it's the right time for you. You're dead on the floor and you need defibrillators, and you're going to pass a guy like me who's going to volunteer you this marketing expertise. How much work have we done in this town? To me, that was the ego above principle. So Actually, he did me a favor because my business, our business has been so busy that I didn't know that I really would have the time to donate. But I wanted to because I live here. I've lived here for 40 years and I've watched this town struggle decade after decade after decade. And it's the same thing. It keeps coming back around and around and around. And at 70 years old, I don't know how much longer I'm going to live to see it ever change, but I'm hopeful. I still believe it can change. And people, this is the best council we've had in I don't know how long. Best city manager we've had in I don't know how long. And it's wonderful. The businesses in town, they're all fighting hard to make things work. But there's just one thing that seems to be missing, and it's the cohesion to get this thing together. Sierra Center, a disaster. Am I shocked? No, not at all. So, I've said, you don't have the right to bitch unless you have a solution. Well, my solution is there should be some kind of a committee somehow, some way that handles these things, and so that the timelines are met a little easier and they're not all burdened on one person. That's what should happen. So that's it for now.
Thank you. Come on up.
I just want to say that if we are going to do this Winterfest thing, if we're opening up to businesses or the public to help out, I would like to be part of that. I've been working with Caroline on the 3rd of July committee and going through step by step of how we proceed with this. So I'm very familiar now with the steps to, and if I'm not, I go back and ask, and Caroline's been very good at directing, but I can help you guys with the setup and getting the vendors and the sponsorships and whatnot. And I'm willing to put the energy and time into it because I think these kind of events are very important for our town. And I don't want to see them disappear. So just volunteering help if that's the direction you guys want to go.
You want the job done right, hire men.
Well,
Oh, did I say that right? Thank you.
you got it.
Our first step is to find an owner because we can't run that event out of the city council, right? We need an owner, somebody that's willing to step up, preferably a nonprofit.
We just stuck you guys as the owners. You are the owners.
That's our
right there.
Yeah.
First step is to
First
find an
step
owner.
completed. It's you.
And we are headed in the direction of trying to set up a nonprofit so that we can run 3rd of July next year without involving Caroline to the extent that we have. That's why we're going through the process with her now to understand better how to do this procedure. So we are headed in that direction, but if you guys are forming this ad hoc, then we'd be following under you and we do plan on starting a nonprofit at some future date. So, next year we could possibly take that on. Those of us that are still willing to do this after pulling our hair out over this 3rd of July thing. But yeah, it is quite frustrating. It's quite complicated and it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. But if you have the volunteers to help you do it and walk you through it, then I think we can pull it off. So, we're headed in that direction. We're trying to figure it all out so that we can do this.
For clarification.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Just to clarify, you are correct. You have to have a nonprofit involved to be able to get the donations that help pay for this. You have 2 nonprofits that are currently involved with Winterfest. And that is the Lions, because they run the parade, and I know they won't run the event, but that doesn't mean they won't let you run stuff through them. And the other is the Bunko Babes, because they took over Santa when Friends of the Library disbanded. So those are your 2 that are already involved in the event, that you could reach out to.
I just wanted to say in regards to the Disneyland thing. Last year, on July 4th, we were in, my wife and I were in In-N-Out Burger in Auburn. And we were inside at a booth, and right behind us, my wife said, it was a young couple, family. They said they're talking about the 3rd of July. Really? So I got up and introduced myself, and I asked them, I said, what did you think? They live in Grass Valley and they love our event. It's old time, it's historic. They went on and on about how great it was. And then just the other day, we're doing new signage for Grange. And the gentleman who's been had the shirt on, I'm the 3rd of July guy. And he said, what's this? And I said, that's, I'm the guy that did the banners and all that. Same thing. We love that event. It's historic. My wife and I look so forward to going there. These are, last year and this year, how many more people think like that? How many more people would think like that if we present ourselves the right way? That's the only reason why I get up here and bitch, because I know the opportunity we have. We have a chance to make a lot of money and make this town really, really neat. So that's why I beat the horse to death. It's like, I don't give up because I can see the potential. I'll give up if we ever disincorporate, because if that happens, Placer County won't give us the time of day.
Thank you. All right. So, Ron, I guess the direction for you is just get us together for a workshop as soon as possible. And can I get a motion to approve Larry and Kim as the leads on the ad hoc committee for Winterfest and Oktoberfest?
I think that's left to me, so I'll make a motion to approve Larry and Kim.
And I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, approved. Ha 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 ha.
All right, hold on.
Oh.
Do you remember that drone shows are more expensive than fireworks? So I just want to tell you that right now. I looked into it.
Unless those drones are exploding in midair, no, thank you.
Or returning to their home base, which they.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll move on to item 8C. It is the funding request for Sierra Soar nonprofit in support of Colfax boys basketball program. City manager, can you please discuss this?
I will. Bob, if you'll go ahead and
All
walk
right.
up there.
Great. Thank you, Bob, for coming tonight.
Right. And so tonight we have Bob from Sierra Source nonprofit to discuss the importance of the boys basketball program and the challenges they're facing with the basketball area of the SVCC. And they've given you a list of what they need to improve that basketball area and come to ask council for financial support. So Bob will be here to talk some more and answer any of your questions.
Sure. Thank you for having me. We're really excited about the opportunity to improve the facility for not only the young men in the basketball program, but the entire community. So our goal is to improve the basketball court entirely with new finished floors, new basketball lines. We'd like to get some glass backboards in there. We'd like to get some artwork done on the walls with the local school logos to create a community connection for all the schools that are coming up into the high school. We think that the location can provide a place for kids to go, not just the boys basketball program, and have a facility that they can use, and it would be open and it would give them an opportunity to work on their game and to kind of get them off the streets, if you will. We believe it's important to provide a good structure for the children and an opportunity for growth, and they need a place to do that. And then we think that that facility is an excellent location. Our vision is to improve the facility and draw more children there during the summer, maybe have some open gyms in the evenings. I have volunteers available where we can do tournaments and things like that, which could raise money for the community center and provide some activities for the children. Once we improve the facility, I think that it can be used for more than just for basketball opportunities. The floor is great for pickleball, for volleyball. We just think it needs some improvements, and I think it's important for a place for kids to go. The athletic program is important to the children and some guidance on the type of individual give them guidance on how they should handle themselves, how they represent themselves, and remind them that not only do they represent the alumni that came all the decades before them, but the school students that are there now, and actually the entire city of Colfax. So we really work hard to instill good principles in these young men and point them towards a productive future and involvement in the community. And so we're here asking for funding to improve that facility and just make a better facility and have more opportunities there for everybody. And does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. Council? Kim, you got anything?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It will help the town, help everybody. It'll, I've always viewed Colfax as a penny stock waiting to break $1. And this would be one impetus to getting into that plateau. So just in general, I'm behind it.
Yeah, I think the facility is nicer. It would create a bigger draw. And there would be more events that would be planned there. We promote events there. It'd be kind of a central point for the youngsters in the community, and we have volunteers that would want to put on basketball clinics there for boys and girls. And so we really have a big vision for the long-term opportunities there. Any more questions?
Larry?
I just say I'd be strongly in support because that's right in the mission of the Sierra Vista Center. It's for the youth and for the seniors in this community. I think it would be a good use of funds. I just have one question now. Your organization, what's it called again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sierra SOAR, which is a children's nonprofit, which supports boys basketball program at Colfax High School.
Okay, so you have a nonprofit set up already?
We do, yeah. It's been established for several years, which provides most of the funding for the program. And so we fundraise through activities, golf tournaments, this is whatever we can do. Very expensive just for the high school, one basketball season.
I think it's a win-win-win. I think it's a win for the kids. I think it's a win for the city. And I think it's a win for the Sierra Center because it'll bring a lot of people into that facility and some of them won't even know it's there.
Yeah, we believe that too. We think that it'll really draw additional events there, especially whenever they come in and they see the connection with, the grammar school kids come in and they see their school logo on the wall. And so it's automatically, oh, well, this is a place where we all go. Of course, where you're going to have your event would be at the community center.
I saw a lot of communities when I did this long walk across this country. And school consolidation, for example, is horrible for those communities because that was their center. That's where they went for things like this. And when the school consolidated into a new high school down the road 20 miles, it was a beautiful school, it was a beautiful facility, but the city would lose its soul. And so it would be good for that also. And this is an adult group now, right? That are dedicated to helping the kids. That's what your group is?
Correct. Well, it's a group of alumni that have all graduated from Colfax, and there are hundreds of silent people who are involved that contribute, which never receive any recognition, either with their volunteerism or with money that they donate. And it's primarily local business owners and past graduates.
If we can fill the park with football practices and baseball games, and we ought to be able to fill that gym with young basketball.
To, over the course of many years, really make it a up-to-date usable facility, including the baseball field. I know that there's some grant money that they're trying to get to resurface the parking lot. And then we can seriously consider about bringing in pickleball courts. And I think there's a lot of potential there in the long run. We just got to knock one thing out and then just keep working on it.
Just say thank you. The first step's always the hardest.
It's not hard. It's enjoyable. It's not very hard to get excited about this. I think there's this overwhelming benefit to not only my boys, but the entire community.
All right, Caroline.
All right, I have several questions for you. I appreciate you being willing to come up here and talk with us. I know it's not easy when you got a bunch of people that are gonna grill you. So for clarification first, you said you guys have had your nonprofit for quite a while. And the first thing I did was go find out who it was, because it was not one that I had heard of before.
Yeah.
Your California paperwork is brand new. So can you, what happened? What
Sure.
the discrepancy?
Sure. Well, I think that they were forming it the last couple of years, and then they were working through the president, Ben Satterley. And so they were using his nonprofit, I believe, in the first couple of years for some funding and money, but they have formed the Sierra SOAR. And I'm sorry, I thought it was in existence for a longer period of time then.
Yeah, because it shows that your California paperwork with the Department of Justice is January 27th of this year.
I was under the impression that that had been.
Okay.
And so that's just my
Yeah,
currently that's the nonprofit that, and I was under the impression, because we had been so active the last couple of years, that it had been in existence technically.
okay. Yeah, it would help to get some clarification,
Sure.
like I said, because it's brand new. So in your paperwork that you had given us, you said you guys had been around since 1963, I think is what it was.
Yeah, Colfax High School
Okay,
basketball.
so that's where my clarification, I'm curious, because you're with Colfax High and you keep talking about the Colfax High basketball program. Why are you wanting to use the Sierra Vista Center versus the facilities at the high school?
Well, they're not always available. And the high school facilities are really for mostly the high school kids' activities, soccer, volleyball, you name it. What we're really trying to develop, help develop, are the younger kids, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and provide programs for them to have a place to go. And so the basketball program can be stronger whenever they start younger. And so we need facilities for that, which are not always available at the high school or the elementary school.
So where I certainly don't know everything that goes on in Colfax, and I am somewhat removed from what happens at the schools because I homeschool my kids, but I don't ever remember seeing any, social media or advertisement for, hey, we've got this basketball league, anybody can come join, this is where it is. I don't remember ever seeing anything about it. So how have you engaged with the community, and how often have you been hosting your program?
Oh, sure. Well, I personally have been involved in the program for the last 11 years, and the last 3 years or 4 years under Coach Devin Ginty, which is a new hire and new teacher at the high school. They have several programs that they do during the course of the year now. So they have Pursuit, which is a basketball, I guess it's a week-long instructional period where we have the youngsters come 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and they play, we do skills and drills, and then we have tournaments. And so we have that during the summer, and we just finished our spring ball. But those communications aren't on social media. They're directly to the parents of the basketball players. typically that are involved in the program. And then I guess Devin Ginty does do some posting on Facebook
So,
for some different things.
so how would you grow the program if the only people you're communicating with is the parents of the kids that are currently in the program?
Well, this is part of it, right?
Mhm.
Stepping outside of that box, which is just communicating with those parents. The more people involved and we get people coming to this event, and we have like our basketball banquet we had there last year, whereas we didn't have it the year before. We're trying to bring exposure that way.
Mhm. And are you gonna open it to any kids in the community, or are you gonna keep it with the public
Yeah.
school kids?
No, this isn't just about Colfax basketball,
Mhm.
boys, or it also involves girls, but it needs to be open for the entire community.
Mhm.
For, like I said, the facility can be used for all kinds of things: basketball, volleyball, badminton, pickleball. And so we're just trying to improve the facility so we can get some more frequency of participants that go there.
Okay, but the program you're still looking at running, you guys, is just the basketball portion.
No, no. So we have volunteers that are interested in providing time so the gyms can be open for other events,
Okay.
not just basketball. So we have people that want to, they see a lot of opportunity there for kids to have a place to go. And so we have people that are available that will get in connection with the community center to volunteer our time to open the gym in the evenings or whatever time we put on the calendar for whatever specific activity it would be.
Mhm.
And so we would be promoting like a director of that could be a volunteer with the community center to take those responsibilities and to show up, right, and
Mhm.
open the doors.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have for right now. I'll keep thinking on it. Thank you.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Right. I think it's a great idea to put some money into the community center. And I definitely want to support your program and the work you guys are doing. But I do have some concerns right now with the funding management and the accounting at the Sierra Vista Center. Just from going to their last meeting and some stuff I've seen. So I kind of have some concerns with the future of the community center and
So I
put some money in,
that.
but also we did not get an exact number for the amount of funding we have left in our donation.
I want to say it's about $3,000 in our last conversation we had. No, I didn't, because Shanna's on vacation.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, at the end of our, I was checking the agenda from the May 14th meeting. The Winterfest request was 6,800, and at that time we had a balance of 9,000, so 2,200 or so.
That's my recollection, 2,000 something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I thought it was maybe 2,600, but I'm not, it went from 1,600 to 2,600. But I think more than that, there's a broader question, which is that we had a 2-year budget and we assigned $30,000 to nonprofits for this first year. But what about the second year? You know, we didn't really talk about that.
When you do a budget, you just go with the same numbers for the next year.
That's great. Then that means as of July 1st, we have 30,000 more that we can draw from.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for public comment and we'll bring it back for some more discussion.
Excuse me, could I just make?
I'm sorry, yes,
one
please.
comment on your
No,
point
yeah, I'm
that
sorry, go ahead.
You had a concern about the management at the SVCC. And so the money would not go directly to the community center. It would go to the Sierra SOAR. And then we would pay for all the improvements. And then, of course, donate a lot of labor to get the work done. So that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you. Public comment? On up.
I think of that movie, Cool Hand Luke, and the famous quote, "What we have here is failure to communicate." We're just talking, we didn't even know about the 501 through none of the stuff. And it seems like there's too much stuff that's close to the vest. If we had a little more involvement from the public, and to Caroline's point, you know, Facebook, how do you communicate to people? How much more people can get involved, et cetera, et cetera. The Sierra Center, if you think about it like the Colfax Theater, when I think his name was Jacob, when he bought the theater and he remodeled that thing back in like 89, I think it was. Popular movie theater in all of Sacramento. Best everything. And until he died, unfortunately, it worked very well. So in my mind, the Sierra Center, it can be a Colfax theater. And the other thing is that I think about is, I know we've talked about the skate park thing till we're purple. And I don't even know that we have anything on that. But I do know one thing, the kids in this town are very sports oriented. They grew up, their parents grew up that way. This was a very sports oriented place when I got here in 87. And to carry on that tradition and help those parents, I think if we could invest in that thing, and you have like, I'm not a sports guy, I'm a car guy. But if you invest in those events where you have the rival team, you guys come and you play off and all that stuff, how beautiful it would be to have that facility be something that not only looked great, but was talked about, like the theater. That's what again, Disneyland, think Disneyland, you know? So I think it's a good idea.
I think more like Field of Dreams. You know, basketball court of dreams. If you build it, then they will come.
So I'm just curious as to, I know when we have the Colfax Bulldogs, the junior Falcons is what it is, and they use the elementary school, and do they use the high school football field? Or is it
They use
just,
the high school field for games. They use the,
oh, that's right. I
uh,
have gone to a few of those.
the football program uses either the ballpark field or the high school for games.
Right.
The ballpark field for practice. The elementary school students that play basketball generally use the elementary school gym.
Right.
And the high schoolers use the high school gym. I know they get a little bit of commingling in for some stuff.
So I'm just kind of thinking, why would you guys, I know that there's a lot going on at the high school and the elementary school, but there's absolutely no way you guys could use those two gyms as a alternative to the community center?
No, we need more facilities. I mean, but I'm not here just for the basketball.
Yeah. So that's another thing on your, you're talking about pickleball and volleyball? Are the age groups going to be the same as the basketball, or are you expanding the age groups on those, or no limitation on any of the basketball too? Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Basketball, right? We as a.
Can you, sorry.
No, it's not exclusive to just the basketball program. We were just talking one day, and we were really talking about, oh, it'd really be great to have another facility so where the younger kids could go, they could develop their basketball game at they need a place to go to get that done. And they can't always get keys to go to the elementary school or get to the high school. They're closed all summer, right? The Sierra Vista Community Center typically, if it's staffed, is open from 9 till 1 a.m. every day. It creates an opportunity for the boys to have a place to go and, have less idle hands. Any kid, not just basketball. Then we started talking about it and we thought, boy, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? What if we did that? We could really improve this facility for the entire community. So it really mushroomed into much more than just benefiting the boys basketball program. We saw it as kind of a crusade. I'm an alumni. I'm in this town. I was a kid living on 174. I didn't have any place to go. I had to walk into town to go to the theater in 1986. I've done all these things. If I had a basketball court that I could have gone to, I would have been there every single day, or volleyball, or whatever. And so we just see it as a bigger vision than that.
So, and that's another concern though, as long as it's staffed up there, then you have that availability. There's problems up there right now, so I don't know if,
I'm fortunate that we're fortunate enough that we're supported by hundreds of volunteers. So we can staff the time blocks for the different things, and people are willing, parents, coaches, coaches of the other players. And so there are people that are available that can make the facility available and hours not just limited to 9 till 1.
now, the last one thing I'm thinking is your community engagement. How are you, is this a local only, or are you engaging out to other communities like Weimar,
Yeah.
Chicago Park, I don't know, any of the
We are, and so we're
Applegate?
all the elementary
Okay.
schools
Uh-huh.
as the mecca for them. That's why we want to put their artwork on the walls. So when they go to, they think, oh, this is kind of our facility. This is where we should be. And that would include Weimar, you know.
Okay,
Chicago
and then
Fire.
how are you going to get this community engaged in this? I mean, you're not going to get it just by word of mouth to parents and, you know, you want to get your community engaged in this. So how are you guys going to go about that? How are you going to get the word out to the communities, surrounding communities, the local community, that this is going on, that this is something you guys are putting out there?
Yeah, with hard work and
Mhm.
effort.
Did
And
you,
so-
do you guys have a plan wrote up that, I mean, like, that you can go by, that you have like a direction where you're going with all this?
I do not.
Okay.
I was the guy that was asked to come down here
I'm just,
and
okay.
get it done.
Got you.
But we have IT guys, we have social media guys. I'm not really involved in that. I think if you look around, Devin Ginty does have a Colfax basketball webpage. And then, but no, we would make efforts because we want to have tournaments there from kids surrounding. It could be kids from Placer High School. And so I'm not the guy who could answer those questions, but we certainly don't do many things without some type of plan or outline. We may not be there yet. Just trying to get this first step done, but we can get it done. So.
Yeah, well, might want to look at a plan and, you know, give some direction to where you're going with that and see how you're going to engage the community and see what age levels and boys, girls. I mean, when I heard about this, I was kind of confused as whether, because you're boys
Sure.
and, and I didn't know about the pickleball and the volleyball. I mean, but you're talking about getting funding, you know, is it going back into your program, or is it going back into the community center?
This article is, any money that we get goes right to the community center. That's what this is about. We have other fundraising events that we do for the basketball program that are sufficient. We just are trying to improve the overall community benefit. And it does, all boats rise with that. All kids athletics, we believe so.
Okay, all right. That's your vote. Pretty good.
Additional public comment, please come on up.
My name is Matt O'Donnell, and I am a member of the Sierra Vista community. And I've been kind of a volunteer on and off. One existing right now, as you all know, there's been a huge turnover. So what he's talking about is our vision and our mission right now. We're trying to change things. It's going to take some time. We got a huge amount of stuff to straighten out. I'm sure you've heard all the bad news. That's behind us. We're not part of that. We joined this thing and we're trying to change it. My wife has volunteered to do bingo, to do this flea markets. And I volunteered to help with cornhole, and we just watched it all going where is this going? So basically, I guess there was sort of an insurrection. I don't know what you want to call it, but we've turned it over. We've got a whole new board coming in July. Is that right? Yeah. We can't do anything till July. There's rules in a corporation, basically is what it is. So we're trying to turn this around and make it exactly what he wants to do. We've been talking about, we could set up our own cornhole for kids, adults, whatever, and have fun. We could do pickleball, like he's saying, everything. We need help. He would be great. If he can bring people in, we don't have to have our own staff there. We trust volunteers with keys and helping us. And even with the cornhole people who did come up from Auburn to play cornhole because they couldn't play cornhole in Auburn at the brewery at night in the parking lot. So they came up here and asked us. Unfortunately, the people who were set up the agreement on that didn't have good business sense, is all I'll say. And they stuck around and said they were going to leave when the weather got good, and basically said you could do so much more with this place. So we're going to try to do that. That's our goal. Give us a chance. I know you've had bad feelings about the whole thing. And I know there's a lot of bad feelings and sentiments about the whole thing. We're fresh, we're new, we're here to help. We're trying to do that. And when he walked in, it was like, wow, maybe this could happen. We could put it together for this city and we could have all that. But yeah, the center is run down. It needs some work. Definitely the floor needs to be redone. The windows need to be fixed. We're trying to do it. We need to look at all the business side of it from a business point of view. I'm not a great businessman, but between me and my wife, we are in business for ourselves and we know how to run a corporation. And we do it honestly and upfront, and everything's there. It's not hidden. So when he showed up, it was like, wow, maybe we can get somebody to help pull it all together. I'd love you to get on the board with us up ahead. So you could be involved with what we want to do. Because our vision is to make this town have a nice center, like you said. Really, I do. I think you have a lot of opportunity here. This town is great. We're planning to do some car shows that doesn't conflict with anything here up ahead. So we're going to do that. We're going to try to get the parking lot fixed up. If the city could find us some old asphalt, I'll bring my tractor down. We'll fill the holes up for now. We have a lot of plans, but we need your help. We want to put everything in the past and just move forward if we can. Or if you want to stick in the past, I'm sorry. I stepped into this thing watching it. And I watched it with my wife for about 6 months. I go, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to run this thing. And it's got a lot of opportunity, but we need people to help. And when somebody walks in and says they want to volunteer, I mean, she's been cooking there and calling bingo, and I've been grading parking lots, and it's all volunteer on my time. I don't even live in this town, but I love the town. I love the area. So I think there's a potential here. I think if you don't help him, it's all gonna, it's just gonna keep running like it is. We need help. We need volunteers, and this is like wonderful. So I support this. Community Center will support it. I am not the president. I'm just on the board in July. I am a member, and she is the only actual person who is on the board right now. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Real quick.
That brings in a whole different to Disneyland Colfax. So what we have to offer in that venue, and they talk about it, just like they did at In-N-Out Burger, just like the sign guy talked about our 3rd of July. So we have to get off this stereotype blinder thing and look at all the single things we have here. And that's where that committee comes in. Instead of having them fragmented and this fragmented and this fragmented, you put a marketing plan together with a group of people to market the town. That's what you're trying to do. And then the money comes. It's that simple. This is not rocket science. And we're only 4 square miles. It shouldn't be this goddamn hard.
All right. Thank you. Any other public comment? No? Nothing online? All right, I'll bring it back to council for additional comments. You can stay. We might have some questions for you.
I just have one. We should all know that that is not a full-size gym. So it's ideal for kids. Kids don't need the high school gym. The high school kids wouldn't play there. And it's not only great for kids. I was a university level basketball player at one time, and I still have 3 years of my scholarship left, but the coach isn't interested. And that court length is perfect for people my age as well. But I'm very supportive. Let's do this for the kids, and I'm sure they'll turn up with supervision, and I'm fully in support of it.
We, just a comment on that, we have are envisioning having adult basketball leagues there too, like they did in the 80s or the 70s. The old Colfax coaches and players are constantly talking about the days at the community center. So we're trying to bring it back to that glory. And also I wanted to mention that we have in our alumni, we have all kinds of professionals that can handle marketing, that can handle construction, that can help us support our goal. And so it wouldn't be just limited to a guy like me. We could find the right individual to get the job done.
I have two other questions for you, sir. Thank you for your patience with all of us asking.
Oh, no, sure.
Are there other things that your organization would need that we might be able to help with outside of talking about SVC and the floor over there?
Well, we can always use donations for the basketball program, but that wasn't our goal here today. It was to improve the program aggregately by, start out as a conversation by improving at the lower levels, and then it kind of.
No, and I get that was your ultimate goal. I'm just curious if there are other things that you need that would help support your program.
Oh, well, we need basketballs,
Okay.
nets.
So equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always need equipment. Basketballs disappear. They go flat. Things wear out.
Okay.
Gym B could use a lot of work.
Mhm.
It's the original gym from the original construction, and it needs a lot of work. Nets, the backboards are still some of the original,
Mhm.
but a lot of it is money, so we can go to tournaments and
Mhm.
to have a lot of opportunity for the boys to play and grow.
Okay, so we have some other options of how to be able to support the program and to be able to support the kids as well.
Oh, yeah,
So-
for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
the one other question I had, and this does go back to the floors and SVC. What is your game plan, if you know, for the additional fundraising? Because I know the request from $15,000.
Sure.
What is your plan? Can give a little bit, or we can do a match thing,
Sure.
something. What is your game plan for the additional fundraising?
Sure. I've also given presentations to the VFW. I'm scheduled to go to the next Lions Club meeting, and we've been seeking donations from them. I also gave a presentation with the Ladies Auxiliary. And so we've approached other groups in the community to accomplish the goal.
So your game plan at this point, from my understanding, is you're just asking for donations. You're not hosting events or fundraising events to be able to actively participate in the fundraising.
Not yet, not so
Okay.
far, no.
All right. Well, I definitely like your mission. I definitely agree with what you guys are doing. I would like to put the money toward the community center, and because I know it needs all the help it can get. I am still a little hesitant, and with only $2,600 and you guys are asking for up to 14, I think I need to do a little bit more investigation before I'm comfortable. I definitely don't want to shoot it down, and I want to find a way to make sure we get you what you need.
Sure.
But I think I'm still left with a few questions and things to work through before I can 100% approve this.
Sure. And we can provide any type of accounting or financial statement for the money we received that's supposed to go towards the community center. So we can provide, any documentation to support, where the money goes.
Right. Because I'm a little hesitant, I think Caroline is also, I'd like to ask to table this item for tonight. And bring it back at the next council meeting, and hopefully Trinity can be here too. And we can work through a couple of questions and work with you a little bit and work with the Sierra Vista Center and get everybody feeling good about it and make sure we direct the amount of funds you guys need so that
Oh, that'd be
we can get what you need.
great. I appreciate that.
All right,
Okay.
great. If, so if the rest of the council is okay with that, are you guys okay with tabling this item for tonight? So it doesn't just go dead and
And I'm ready to support them right now,
I
but I
understand.
don't have anything against further investigation. I don't know what kind of investigations you're talking about.
I just have a few questions and want to ponder on a little bit more and make sure that we're gonna give the Sierra Vista Center what it needs to and the program to make sure that we get the most for our money.
I'm in agreement with that. And I also like to say that, you know, I was a president about 8 years ago at the community center, and we had our meetings, and there's a picture of Carl Bianchini there, and he was always looking at us. And he left $1 million. And now that's half of what it is. And of that $500,000, how much really went to the youth and the adults? So every time we had that meeting, he was looking at us, and I was saying that he wouldn't be too proud of the way we didn't spend his money. So I agree, let's wait, but let's come back and maybe get some money from the Carl Bianchini, because that's why he left the money. He could match it or triple it.
It's interesting you bring that up because when I was the kids were putting flags out on Saturday, I happened to walk past their plot over there and kind of had the same conversation with him that I don't think he'd be real happy with how it's gone, and we're gonna try to get it fixed if we can.
All right.
Do you need a motion to table it?
No,
You good?
we can just table the item with a no vote. All right, thank you very much, Bob. We look forward to seeing you at the next meeting and we'll get it figured out. All right, move on to our last item tonight for council business. It is the SAF algae unit testing and pond management. City manager, you want to introduce this item and kick it off?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we have Matt Anderson, Chief Plant Operator of our wastewater treatment facility with us. Matt's going to describe the SAF unit and its function. He's also going to talk about why it's recommended city accepts the project without any further testing. Matt, floor is yours.
Thanks for being here tonight,
Hi,
Matt.
council. So this should be fairly quick and simple. Basically, the city went through an upgrade at the wastewater treatment plant involving an SAF unit. SAF is solids air flotation. What that does is it was designed to take the algae out of our pond, basically to waste, and then bring clean water back into the plant so we can process it after the winter months and diverting. Currently, we have no algae in our pond. I'm literally at drinking water standards at the wastewater treatment plant right now with, I mean, almost across the board. The comment and the idea of not processing any more of the pond water and growing algae in our pond to do a chemical test to sign off on this unit isn't a good idea because it's going to jeopardize our permit. We could end up not being able to process it. The piece of equipment could somehow break and we wouldn't be able to process. Right now, I'm processing as much as I possibly can out of that pond, getting ready for the upcoming winter months in about 6 months. The unit has been tested mechanically. Everything works. Just saying, no, we're not going to do a chemical test and bring water through it because we literally have no algae to process. So I just need approval so that we can sign it off and do it.
Questions from council?
We need council approval to not do something? Is that?
Yes.
Well, if I may, it's a, multi-million-dollar project. And I wasn't willing to make that call on my own. I wanted to involve council because of the size of the project and the past relationship the city has had with the sewer treatment facility. So that's why it's in your lab.
Good call.
Right, so just for clarification, from my understanding and make sure we're all on the same page, obviously this was put in to handle algae. We don't have any right now, whether it's the weather, how you've been handling it, there isn't any, so we cannot do that portion of the test. We've made sure the machine works It operates, you just can't do that little tiny bit of it because we
Correct.
don't have anything to test.
We literally have
Fantastic.
nothing to test.
And we confirmed that the grant that we had to get that, they're okay with it. We don't have to do that. There's no violation there. So literally, it works. We're good.
Sign
You're
it off.
rocking at the plant. Sign on the dotted line. That,
He's asking.
Right, I'm gonna ask Jim Flutter for a letter stating that the state will be good with us not conducting any more testing before we make a final decision.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. As long as the state's good with it, I mean, I don't care. But I also want to say that I went down to the sewer treatment plant for the first time since you've taken over. Went and put up a fire sensor down there by the weather station. So you guys will see that up there, little purple box. I was incredibly impressed with the cleanliness of the plant, the odor of the plant, the processed water at the other end. I mean, I've never seen that plant run this good. I couldn't even smell it when I was standing next to the trash racks.
Well, thank you.
It's just absolutely impressive what you've done.
I've
with
got a
that
good
since you've
team.
been there. Yeah, you guys
I
are
do have-
rocking it.
I do have a
so.
good team. And that plant it's unforgiving, but it's a very, and I've literally had people that have been doing this for a million years say, I've never seen a plant like this perform and do what you're doing with it. It's not supposed to be able to do this.
Yep, I gotta agree. So very impressed. Thank you very much for all the work you guys are putting in on that. It's made a huge
Yeah.
difference, and we're seeing it in the chemical costs and operational costs of issues we're having. Fine,
We're doing really well.
amazing. So thank you very much for all your hard work on that. And
Yeah, if I might add, I'd like to recommend that council members that haven't been down there in some time, make arrangements with Matt to take a personalized tour where they can get an explanation of how it works, why it works, what he's doing to change, and the future changes that we're adding to our CIP list.
absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are all invited.
yeah, great. And your future planning is on point too. You're doing great. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
My only comment is I completely trust Matt and Ron to do the right thing for our system. I don't know anything about sewer systems other than that we want all that stuff to go downhill in one way or the other.
It's the magic flush. It just disappears.
So I want to make a motion that we go ahead and authorize the city manager to accept the
Yeah.
algae unit. Yes?
This time, I'm not gonna
We
forget
gotta go
public
through the
comment.
That's right. Damn it.
Is there any public comment on this item? No? Good. All right. Great. Continue.
All right, so that will make our motion to authorize the city manager to accept the SAF algae unit with the letter coming from Jim Flutter, and we get this over and done with and wrapped up. So Matt can move on to bigger and better projects.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patience tonight too, for hanging out. All right, now we can move on to item 9, good of the order. Anybody got anything for good of the order, Kim?
Yes, two short good things. On Memorial Day, Councilwoman McCauley and I were out there at the event, and they released the doves, and it was a very nice ceremony. A 9-year-old daughter of one of the officers sang the national anthem a cappella. And then a couple hours later, there was some wonderful music at the Wrecking Crew. 2 women were playing the guitar. So it was a wonderful day in Colfax on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry?
Yeah, just to mention, this is something that I would like us to discuss in a meeting. What the Central, now it's called Advisory Commission, decided to get more public input, that the first half an hour of their meeting would be outside the Brown Act. They called it a forum, and it allowed communication between the audience and the council, as opposed to public comment where we can't comment unless it's on the agenda. And the interest in doing that was to get more people to come to the meeting, because it's really challenging. I have done this a number of times, to come up and speak for 3 or 5 minutes or less. And the only thing you see is nodding heads, because we can't engage from behind the dais. But anyway, I'd like us to explore that as a council to see if that's something that we'd have an interest in. that public engagement with those that come to the meeting, and the interest would be to get more people in this community to come to the meetings. And so again, a forum, but it caused a very positive meeting, positive outcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can certainly look at putting on more workshops. And they don't necessarily have to have a theme other than come and tell us your feelings. So if that's something council would like to explore, we can discuss that further. Yeah, it would be a workshop, and again, the agenda would be come and talk about whatever you like.
Yep. Perfect. Caroline, anything?
I got a couple things for you. Question, Ron, I forgot to ask you this. Do we still have compost for people to get at the courtyard, or did that all get picked up?
I was up there yesterday. It looks like we have about 20% left. As soon as that's wiped out, I'll order some more. I initially only ordered 20 yards because I wanted to see how it would fit in there. And it looks like I can go ahead and order about 45 yards and pick up enough discount to pay for the delivery. So that'll be the next move on that.
Awesome. So yeah, reminder for the public, there is compost available at the courtyard. You got to bring your own buckets and shovels. You can get, if I remember, it's half a yard, which is the equivalent of 25-gallon buckets. Is that what it was?
Correct, yeah.
Ooh, did my math right. Go Alexa for that answer on the question on what it was. If you missed it when Ron mentioned it, we do have a 3rd of July decorating contest that's going to be kicking off for the city. That applies for businesses and homes. Anybody can enter. Prizes only get to go to city limits though, because it's a city contest. But so do know that's out there. Like I said, rocket, decorate it. The dates of when it has to be done by and all that stuff will come out on the city Facebook page. Reminder that fireworks are illegal in Colfax and in unincorporated Placer County. We've already had fires started by fireworks recently, last weekend, I think. We do have another fundraiser for the 3rd of July coming up on June 8th. It's going to be a picnic in the park right next door. Chavita's Tacos, which was Biranchito and California Sun for Hawaiian Shaved Ice are going to be there. And we're going to do a chalk art contest at the same time. And then I would like to bring up on a conversation, help for Amanda on our social media, because our page is really boring. And if you do any browsing on other pages, they try to engage and have a little bit of personality on their social media. So I would like to have a discussion and throw my name in the hat to become a moderator on that page so I can put some stuff on there and not have to go to add things and maybe give us a little bit of personality. That's it.
So I will say that that is part of Amanda's realm. Amanda's authorized to make her department her own. So if she would like that help, we're more than supportive
a
of
big smile.
reaching out to help her in any way we can.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
I'd like to bring up a discussion about fencing for the art park. So we can put that on there. It's been asked again about kind of fencing it off, even if we use removable fencing in the backside and putting a gate up front. We get a lot of a lot of people running their dogs out or in there and letting their smaller children, and they're concerned about the alley and stuff in the back there. So being able to fence that off, I'd like to bring that discussion back. Other than that, I got nothing else. Any public comment on good of the order stuff? Nope. All right. No closed session tonight, so we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.